Good morning, good morning, good morning. Very quiet and peaceful here in Asakusa today. Unlike Florida, I was just watching some of the webcams from Florida. I guess they're any minute now. Anybody here from Florida hanging on there? Ah, Soka, it's Thursday. Aren't we supposed to be in Ome? Yes. We're supposed to be in Ome. The reason we're not in Ome today is carving. I've got to get this block finished. Excuse me. Getting chilly here. Oh no, I've got to get this block finished. Absolutely. I shouldn't have gone to Ome last week. I should have spent those 2.5 days getting this block done. Printers are waiting. Everybody's waiting. Just everybody's waiting now. So today's carving. Let me clear the junk off the desk here and get to carving. It'll be carving till 9:15. Then we have show and tell. We have a show and tell today. We have two of them. We have one, a little group of prints here, and we have another, the regular show and tell, but I have a bit of a problem. It's a really interesting bunch of prints I ordered the other day, and it's come here. I haven't opened it yet, but they're naughty prints. They're naughty prints. We also, too, the packages are stacking up. The other one came the other day, and I forgot to open it. From the Netherlands. It's got to be a print inside. And this one is from United Kingdom. It's got to be another print inside. Got to be prints. People are making prints and sending them. Oh, this one too. Sumo ring with restaurant tables with a sharp corner right there. Let's look at it a bit later. Let's get started first and look at it. This is the work to do. A case samples, boxes, endless. Prints received. I'll just start with this, the usual thing. This is in from Mitamura-san. Actually, Mitamura-san didn't do it by himself. He had help. Mitamura-san's daughter, and he worked together on it. This is an unusual print in our catalog in that the key block is printed and all the rest of the colors are painted on. It's from an era in printmaking before color printing had been invented, the original one. So my reproduction has the same thing. We've painted the colors on by hand. Did I swim? Yes, I swam. She killed me today. She just killed me. She passed me, I don't know, 3 times or 4 times. I don't even know. So, as I said, and painted by hand. So there's difference between them, When she's doing this or when they're doing this, the question is how well do you try and stay within the lines? And the old ones we have, left over from this era, they really splashed them on. They didn't try and dramatically stay between the lines. But Control Freak Dave, whatever, when I made my reproduction, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't go outside the lines. It's just not genetically possible. Blame my mother. I don't know. I can't do it. So I'm publishing this print now, and even though the original version we've got shows clearly a bit of carelessness here and there, I can't do that. Someone's got left ankle is white. Oh, look at that! Look at that. You caught one. The one I happened to pull out. No way. come on, what are the odds on that? What are the odds on that? I pulled it out of the middle of the deck, right? It wasn't the one on top. Somebody gets an egg. Who's that? Vivid KP. A printer. Someone who's going to look at it. But I didn't see it. I'm too busy talking and chatting. That's my excuse. Mitamoto-san will be here next week working on another job. I've got to hold it back for him and say, excuse me, you think these are all okay, but they don't pass muster at Mokuhankan. Vivid JP, thank you. Who's the egg? Somebody else caught it. I don't know who gets it. Whatever. Share your eggs, please. Share your eggs. Beat Zayas. Okay. So she got to play the lottery day today. Not me, somebody else. Well, I pulled it out. But actually, that reminds me, there's an experience yesterday. Speaking about chances and coincidences. I mean, you know, I get it. Every day we pass 50 coincidences that didn't happen, so we don't notice those. And then when something does happen, we notice it. We say, wow, what a coincidence. We had one yesterday. It was just too rich. It's nearly lunchtime. Shop was crowded. Hontoni was crowded yesterday. I don't know, the single days, like the take at the register is one of the highest ever, but it was just crowded. So much fun. People chatting. Not everybody knew us. Lots of them did. Anyway, so I talked to the girls. I needed to sit here to eat my lunch so that one of the girls could go out for lunch. So before it was lunchtime, I head for the 7-Eleven. Dave just walks down the street here, heads for the 7-Eleven. Doobie-doo, doobie-doo, doobie-doo. It wasn't raining at that time, just strolling along. It's kind of crowded out there. I get just before Don Quixote. There's the open plaza space, you know, just at the end of our camera here. And some dude in front of me, big guy, tattooed legs, a foreigner, looked like maybe Eastern European. Looked a bit like my son-in-law from Romania. Anyway, this big guy from overseas. He's walking out. He's got his hands in his pocket, and he pulls out, I guess he pulls out his phone. I didn't quite notice exactly what happened. He's got these big baggy pants. He pulls out his phone, and as he pulls out his phone, something else falls out of his pocket. He's got these baggy pants, and it's a wad of cash, and it goes kaplop onto the ground. It wasn't like a bill that floated down. It was a wad, Japanese money, folded in half, and kaplop. Maybe, I don't know, 2 centimeters thick, yay thick, whatever. So, you know, you do what you do. I start to reach towards the guy, hey. But also somebody else who had been walking just to the right-hand side of me, they'd been coming down. Somebody else saw this. And instead of grabbing the guy, hey, he reached down to try and pick it up. Not to steal it, but clearly he was going to pick it up and you know, whatever. So I see this from where I am. The guy walking away, the wad, the guy reaching towards it. We catch eyes for a second. And then I reach towards the guy and tap him on the shoulder. So the guy stops, turns around, but just as he's turning around, I'm now looking back at the other guy, the guy picking up the wad of cash. And he does this. He points at me and says, Dave! So the guy who had lost the money, he turns around. There's 2 guys behind him. One has got his money on the ground. And they're looking at each other and they're talking, Dave. And I'm saying, yeah. And this guy is like, what is going on? So of course, whatever, I'm tapping him on the shoulder, look, and the guy picks up the money then and gives it to him. And the guy grabs it. He didn't even say thank you, actually. He's just like, whatever. I said, be careful. And he just walks away. And then the 2 of us, I turn and like look at him. And he says, YouTube, you're Dave. So I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it turns out he's here to visit us. So I'm on my way up for lunch. He's like, the shop is near here. I said, yeah, it's just, you know, whatever, down the road. I'm going to grab a sandwich. See you there in a minute. So I head out to get my sandwich. He comes back here. And when I get back a few minutes later, we're talking. But give me a break. 35 million people in this town. 35 million people. Set this up. If we were making a movie here, a documentary movie or something, we put this into it, nobody is going to believe this. Nobody. Helps to put lights on when we carve. Dave. Okay, as you can see, you know what we're doing. You know the picture. Dave definitely needs to play the lottery. I don't do that stuff. I don't buy lottery tickets, you know. Well, I mean, it's not complete coincidence because we're right here. I mean, it's not exactly in front of my shop, but close enough. So if it's, you know, on my street here for some foreigner to come here and bump into me on the street, that's not, you know, that happens. Not every day, but it happens all the time, of course. So there's no big coincidence there. But come on, dropping the money, you know. So you know what we're carving. Now, those of you who don't know what's going on, the image we are making, it's this year's gift print, which I have got to get ready. It's, whatever, long story short, it's a mixed image. We're doing a double-sided print. And as part of the design, maybe, I don't have the sample here, so I can't show you. As part of the design, there will be a Japanese shoji screen in the design. So that's what I'm carving here this morning. I started last night after dinner. And what I've done, you can't quite see it. If I zoom in a bit more here, not quite sure how much you're going to be able to see. The grid pattern is on the block, and I have done the lines for half of the pattern. Here's what I did. For the lines that go vertically, horizontally, I put the ruler in and I cut that side. What I mean is I cut that side of the line. Those have now all been cut with a ruler. Then, instead of turning it round and doing the other side, that's too dangerous, I then went to the horizontals. Which way did I do it? Put the ruler on, and I cut this side of those lines. So the parts where I've got my pencil mark here. Those lines are cut, and the other side, these lines are cut. So for each of these boxes right now, two sides have been cut up into that corner. I'll mark it then on this group that I'm going to do next. So they're already cut. So what I'm now going to do is I am going to carefully scribe and cut the other side of both of those. So in this box, because there's nothing at the top, that's been cut, this hasn't, and this hasn't. Are we on camera? We're on camera. And the knife here, we have a knife without a super acute tip. It's like a knife that's sort of been broken a little bit. I sharpened it, and then simply I went on the sharpening stone and took the tip off. Chuk, 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 like this. I do not want a super tip. It would break instantly, and I also want to help stay on the lines. Actually, I think I'm going to switch over to the scope. I need more help, so let me do it. Let me switch over. Up one tool. Let's get the position. Did you figure this out by trial and error? Just whatever experience. There's no specific person telling me how to do this. I don't remember what I've been told or I haven't been told. I know we've talked about this before. In general, architectural elements get done with a ruler because we want, straight architectural lines to be straight. Casual straight lines, something in a something else, a stick a guy's holding or whatever, we wouldn't use a ruler. These are architectural elements. They're lines on a screen. If they were wavy, it wouldn't look right. But when you're carving a thin line with a ruler, it's fairly easy to get one side. But then to get it round the other side with a ruler and to get the line exactly this and not like this and not like that and not wandering is really, really difficult. It's much easier to do the back side by hand. Oh, do we carve horizontal, vertical separately? And in mosquito net size, yes. Up here, no. It would just be, it's just not worth the trouble. They're far enough apart that we can do this. The other thing, if I carve these separately, horizontal and vertical, with a mosquito net kind of stuff, it doesn't even matter. If maybe the horizontals are a bit darker than the verticals, or vice versa, it wouldn't matter because it just shows as texture in the screen there. But with this one, because this is a shoji screen, you're going to see it clearly with your eyes. You're going to see all the lines. If the printer got one of them a little bit darker than the other, if one was dark and one was light, your eye would really catch that. So it would be very difficult for the printer to do his work and get them all perfectly matched up. So it's far easier for me to spend the extra time here. It's going to take an extra couple of hours. Well, more than that, but whatever. It'll take me most of the morning here. But the printers will be happy. They're not going to have any trouble with pigment filling in the corners on a large scale thing like this. Funny you mention coincidences and stuff like that, especially related to big payouts. Somebody's talking about buy some lottery tickets, Last night when I was coming home from dinner, I had a nice dinner. I had fish and chips over at the Sumida River Cafe. But when I got almost back home here, I knew I'd be working on this block here, so I want a bit of a snack. So I stopped in at 7-Eleven, not 7, in the Lawson at the corner here. And I got a little ice cream bar, like a popsicle kind of thing, whatever. I come out and I'm walking back here, and as I walk back towards here, I pass the pachinko payout window. Pachinko payout windows, they're all over town. Anytime there's a pachinko parlor, somewhere within the block, around the back, somewhere, maybe across the street, maybe down an alley, whatever, there's the payout window. They're not allowed to do the payouts in the same building as the pachinko parlor. Whatever, it's archaic, anti-gambling stuff, whatever. I don't even know the original meaning for it. But on the street, as we come down towards the shop here, there's a pachinko payout window. And some of the pachinko payout windows, there's a law in place. And again, I don't know the details. But there's some kind of law in place where the payout money has to be publicly visible. So there's a place, there's two windows, there's girls behind it, it looks like they're selling stuff. The guys come from the pachinko place, they line up there. At this time of night, this would be about 8:30, whatever. So lots of people are pouring out of the pachinko places. And the guy puts his prizes into the slot under the window. It's a girl behind it with a window and a little slot where you put your stuff underneath it. So he must have done it. Just as I'm coming by, brrr, blip, we see the brrr, blip, and the numbers flip up onto the screen, what the guy is getting as a payout. And just as I'm walking by, I turn my head. I stop, I do a double take. The guy was getting 280,600. 280,600, 280,600 yen. What's the dollar right now? 150 or something like this, 140. So take that, multiply it by 0.6. And what's he got? About just over $2,000, just around $2,000. So. And the guy is cool, Mr. Cool. He's not standing there, wow, because, like this is the middle of Asakusa, people are all over the place, and he would probably much rather that this was not displaying on the window, but I guess that's the way it is these days, that's the rule. So he's Joe Cool. He's so cool. And I didn't stand there and watch him because, like, good grief, you don't do that. The guy's getting a couple of $1,000 payout. Like, I'm going to follow him down the street. But there it was, you know. See, Joe Cool takes it, puts it inside his jacket, strolls away. So yeah, maybe I should have gone and played pachinko last night. I don't know if that's the absolute highest I've seen. I've seen six figures with a 2 a number of times. I'm not quite sure. Have I seen a six figure starting with a 3? I don't quite remember. Stories tend to get exaggerated. I don't remember. A six-figure payout like that, it's not all that rare. I mean, compared to the thousands of people who went into the pachinko parlor that day, yeah, it's rare. Of course, most of them lose everything. But they're looking for the big payout. That's why they keep going back. You know. I don't know what the odds are. I guess it's legally determined. Parlors must pay out X percent. But I don't know the details. It will be fun, you know. If I lived across the street from that payout window, then you could have a little gap in your curtains where you could see the window, just for fun, just for one evening, just watch it all with your little binoculars there, and total up how much the total payout was for one evening, you know. Pachinko parlors weren't allowed to pay out. Of course they pay out. That's why people go to do it. They're not sitting there just run and steal balls. Of course they pay out. There's a bunch of different kinds of legalized gambling in Japan. Whether is pachinko called gambling, I don't know. It's under those rules. There's a horse racing. Betting on horses is here in Japan. It's a very big deal. There's betting on motorbike races. That's also here in Japan. Motorboat races, I tried to say. There's these little motorboats that run around an oval track, and there's betting on those. There's also betting on a bicycle, cycle. It's called Keirin. This cycle racing has betting. And then there's pachinko. I don't know if it counts as betting. Is it supposed to be skill? I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is. And now, of course, the sports betting, the online sports betting is a thing. That technically may be still illegal. I don't know. But when people are on the internet, they're on the internet. So. So yeah, gambling is a huge, huge, huge deal here in Japan. Absolutely. And there are now, there's lottery tickets of various types. There's lottery tickets tied to sports, you know, the soccer teams and stuff like this. And then there's just general pick a number lottery tickets. They're quite big. They don't pay out much compared to other countries. There's lots of ways to gamble here. The lottery tickets are funny, you know. They get things like the super year-end big grand jumbo lottery, whatever, and you look at the prizes, and there's 10 prizes of Ichioku-en, which is about $600,000, and that's the grand prize. 10 prizes, not even $1 million each. So the payouts on the lotteries they're not the kind of things you see in other countries where it's X hundreds of millions or whatever. Japan doesn't do that. Sounds like the knife is breaking each time that thing pops out. Off camera, almost back in line. Hi, is it wandering? Sorry. Can we bet on Sumo at the restaurant? I don't think so. It's just a joke thing, really, to show. A restaurant where you can watch a sumo show on an actual dohyo while enjoying a meal. An unreadable pamphlet. Look at this. Look at this. That's the level of their PR. But there's the deal. It says after your meal, you can enjoy a sumo show featuring former sumo wrestlers and student wrestlers. Well, of course, the big guys, the real ones, aren't there. Of course, there's no way they'd be allowed to do this. After your meal, so I guess I think it's all on a timetable. The poster outside, it said, starts at like 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. There's a timetable each time. After enjoying our specialty chanko nabe hot pot, you watch the show. You can observe all the basics of sumo, leg stomping, splits, actual bouts. You can even participate in a sumo challenge against the wrestlers, it says. Memorable photos with your family or group. Okay, what's the price? Sumo event plus meal, 16,000 yen, includes one drink. And the meal is a chanko nabe. It's a hot pot. This thing has a flame underneath and it's bubbling and boiling. And you put vegetables and stuff inside it. VIP seats, 20,000. So they don't do it together. You don't sit there eating while the guys are throwing salt around, I guess. You have your meal first, they clear the tables, and on come the boys. Well, here you are, the show. First show, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Oh, no. 12 o'clock to 2. So it's a 2-hour deal. Oops. 12 o'clock to 2. Then the second one is 3 to 5. And the third one is 6 to 8. So there's 3 shows per day. There's the QR code if you really, really want to go and look this up. They must have an English website. Is that going to work? 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'm missing being out in Ome. I really enjoyed those past few weeks, being in the river there, It's kind of getting chilly. I don't think I could spend much time in the water much anymore. Last night was really quite chilly. But I do want to get out there, and this is still going to be a thing, just simply this week. It's not possible. If I had a carving bench set up out there, yeah, I could have gone out to Ome and I could have sat there carving, but I don't have the scope and everything else all set up there, So my apologies for those who had got used to that new setup. Actually, I did get to Ome this week. I had to go on Tuesday, which is one more reason why this block is kind of late today. Monday night, Monday afternoon, our staff at Ome called and said the internet has gone down. Their internet went down. We did some on-the-phone diagnostics, this and that, and this and that. Checked the lights on the router and what's going on. And it turns out that we still have a problem with mice out there. I don't think they're rats. They're just mice, field mice. But they're clearly living in the basement there. And they went through the cables again on Monday. The new cable that I had installed last week or 2 weeks before. So I had to make an emergency trip out there. Monday night, I went to Yodobashi Camera. I got a couple of new cables, 20-meter LAN cables. And I bought some different kind of conduit and cable covers. There's, different stuff you can wrap cables with to try and stop the rats. So I bought some meters and meters of this kind of stuff and went out there on Tuesday. So instead of getting a chance to do more carving on Tuesday, I spent most of the day out in Ome, stripping out the chewed cables. And man, those rats go through metal covers. They go through everything. And I rebuilt the whole thing, put new cables in, top to bottom, wrapped where I could. And one place where the mice seemed to be living and chewing the cables, I opened it up, took up the floorboards, left them open to try and make it so that there's no place for them to sit and relax and hide and do their chewing. Whether it'll make a difference or not, I don't know. That was a few days ago, and so far so good. Mice. Okay, should we clear some of these? Rooting and routing. Speak English. You take your different routes to get somewhere and you route out a groove. Here, I'm routing out wood here. Routing is when you take a route. Route 66. You don't say Route 66. Go listen to the record. Route 66. It's a router. Routing your enemies, that's a different one, of course, yes. Did they really say Route 66? Oh my God. Alienate half of our viewers. Viewership drops from 700 drops to 15. For this job, there's lots and lots of block turning. This thing about in the old days, the guys never turned the blocks. Not for a job like this, absolutely. Cutting key lines, yes, but not something like this where you've got to be absolutely with the grain. You've got to watch these corners. There's no way anybody would try and do a job like this without rotating the block. I think what also maybe would have been done, what I'm doing different from the old days, I've already cleared some of these. There's no way they would do that. And in fact, you saw me just for the past few minutes, I've been going round and round in each block. They wouldn't do that. They would do one. Cut the line, 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 cut, all one direction first. Then turn your block, do cut. Much, much, much more efficient. I don't know, it's part of the control character or what. I'm not so interested in efficiency. I just want to get these blocks. Here's one little block finished, nice. There's the next little block finished. Away we go, chew through this. So I am in no way a paragon of efficiency here. I can get away with it because I'm my own boss. It doesn't matter. But if I was a carver for hire, if there was a boss in the workshop walking around, and if he was paying me a salary, that's his expense, and his income is based on prints from the work that I did, then it's in his interest that I do this as fast as possible. And that's, of course, all through printmaking history, that's the deal. It was time is money. So I fool around, I take it easy. There's no way that's the way it would have been. On the other hand, Taran-san, he has a boss. And he's got a salary. And his boss, me, the income depends on the productivity from the blocks Taran-san carves. So in that case, should we be doing it the old way? Taran-san, faster, faster. Well, I don't need to say anything to the guy because he's already trying to work to that ethic. Even though he knows I don't stand there with a whip and that I'm not even keeping track of his hours. He himself, his own pride and his own way he wants to work and how to do this, Taran-san wants to really work as much as possible to the skill levels and the ethics of the best of the old carvers. How far he will get and all this kind of stuff, it's still an open question. But he's going to try and be more efficient than I am, absolutely. So it's kind of cool the way this is working out. I was a sort of semi-pioneer here. Look at this strange thing. This bear can dance. This foreigner can carve blocks, That's out of the way now, so there's no strangeness here. And Taran-san is just sort of coming into maybe in his mind he's thinking, I was going to come in and learn how to do it properly, So it's working very, very well. I'm going to futz along, muddle along, doing the way I do it. And the people after me, Taran-san, and whoever follows him, I think we'll just gradually, bit by bit, take it to a better level. One thing you have to be careful with these jobs, and in the early days for me, I screwed this up a lot before I really realized what was happening. Let me find a brush here, hang on a second. A real danger in a job like this, we've got these lines, which of course don't want to be damaged at all. Now I'm going to clear out wood here. Now if I came in like this, and started to clear here. This is okay, I'll do this in a minute, but the danger is I might be banging one of the lines here. So I'd like to get rid of some of this waste wood this way. So if my chisel slips, it doesn't hurt anything. But look, how can I demonstrate this without making trouble? If I dig in here, if I push down with my chisel, this place right here, this place, can we zoom in a bit more? Just a second. Let's try. If I try digging here, zoom. I'm going to try and hold the knife with one. Try and hold the knife with one hand. This area under here is dangerous because this chisel, look at this, it's really quite thick. It's got some thickness here. And this point, the back side of the chisel here, can cause damage. Let's just try and fake it or something. You know, if I'm, there's a line out here. If I cut too close here, the back of the chisel bangs against the line. And I did this before, years and years. I did it without realizing what was happening. And some of the lines had little dents in them. And where did those dents come from? And they were coming from the back side of the chisel. So I certainly can't come in here and pry down because it'll damage that line. And you may think that's a no-brainer. How you didn't figure that out for years? Well, you know, here, the way I'm presenting it to you here, it's obvious. But in some of the places I was carving, it simply wasn't obvious. And I'd been dinging those lines without really realizing what was going on. Here I'm in the open, I'm okay. This one doesn't want to come. There it is. Do I want to show the packages? What do we wait? It's 8:45. We're halfway through. Okay, let's do that then. Let's pause this. The packages. If I forget these packages again, it's really not fair. People have really gone to some trouble to make nice prints, I guess, and send them in. There's 2 packages. What did I do with them? I do believe we have prints that are sent in that can be shown in public. We'll find out soon enough if that's wrong. First one here is from Britain. It says, "Please do not bend." It's addressed to me, and it says, "Postcard picture." Postcard picture, which I think is probably their customs-friendly saying for a print. Let's see. It may not be prints. I don't know. I guess it's prints. Let me peek at the letter first, just to try and see if this is going to be publicly openable. One sec. I can't tell from looking at the outside of these packages. Excuse me, just one second. Oh, a long, long letter. Okay, there's a print. Okay. Okay, this is a long letter. It's not something I'm going to read but online here, but it looks like we do have a print. Yes, it's, again, an early attempt from somebody. Look at the design. We've seen this before. Hey, hey, hey. Look at this. I'm torn. I can't spend an hour reading the details to try and tell you what's going on here. It's the famous Urishibara stork in rain design. An interpretation of Kawanabe's Heron in the Rain, whatever, Urishibara, whatever. Okay, there's a public Instagram. Let's do this. There's something public here. Tomono Mokuhanga. Is it Tomono? Tomono Mokuhanga. So there's obviously lots of prints going on. All right, thank you, sir. I will read carefully. I'm not just tossing this aside, but this is not the place to read carefully. If you need an archivist or cataloger, I am trained as both. Yes, I do. Where you are and where I am are different places. Okay, I will read carefully later. Thank you, sir. Very nice lettering. And an interesting print. Part of the texture. Oh, I see. The texture is coming from the paper. Okay, this is going to be difficult to see. The paper itself, the lines that you see, the white lines you see, are not carved. They are the texture of the paper. So he's carved a single block, put pigment on it, and very, very lightly, so as not to make the paper flat, and that gives it this texture. We ourselves wouldn't do that. We want the wood to be just one of the tools to make a nice flat print. This is interesting. This is interesting. Thank you, sir, for sending it. I will have a careful look through the letter. Oh, there's more. Okay. York Minster. Okay, the background to this part, he must be, there's an address somewhere. I'm from Yorkshire. The York Minster is a huge cathedral in Yorkshire. Not exactly where I lived. I came from Halifax in Yorkshire. Okay, I'll look forward to reading this later, sir, and I'll write back to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for showing the print, and I hope it's been okay to show this in public. That's got to go on my football jersey. Yes, I guess so. That's right, my Halifax town. This is fun. This is fun. It's like Christmas. No candy. Relax, relax. The next one is from the Netherlands, and the name on it here, this gentleman, he, she, whatever, I'm sorry, I don't know. This person has written to me before with asking for questions like, what do I do with something, something, something? What do I do, something, 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 Gumpy paper. So there's been a little bit of correspondence back and forth with this person. All right? There's a name. I guess, are we okay to use names? I don't know. I guess so. Let's try. I think it's probably okay. Here we are. I'm trying to think back 40, 45 years before I came to Japan. If it was the other way around, Dave is over there in Canada trying to make woodblock prints. No guidance, no nothing. So no one to ask, no one to send stuff to. But if this sort of situation had been here, if there had been somebody in Japan making prints and doing this sort of thing, would I have taken some of my early prints and sent them over like this? I wonder if I'd have had the nerve to do this. I really hope we're making this as non-threatening as possible. You know, early prints are sometimes... You know, I'm happy that people like this are not embarrassed because the print is not a perfect blah, 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 blah. This is what we see in the shop sometimes. People will bring in prints or show me, and always they are kind and polite, and they will say, no, no, it's okay, I'm just a beginner, you're a professional. And I don't even know how to emphasize this often enough. You know, there's no way I am feeling I don't want to see early prints because I'm a professional. We all know how it starts. And maybe there's a competitive aspect. Somebody's first print is better than somebody else's first print. I don't care. I don't think anybody really cares. Some of the prints we show are wow, and some of the prints are, oh, that's cool. I really, really hope it isn't competitive. I don't know if these are first prints or not. They certainly don't look like somebody's first print. They look like somebody who has had a go at this for quite a while. Look at this. European feel, which makes sense. It says the Netherlands. I guess that's the name to show. So I think we're okay to show these. Hesmund 2024. It's on a bit of a funny paper. It is a Japanese paper, but it's a very sort of pulpy, kind of soft paper. Very, very soft. If we were trying to make prints on this paper, we'd probably get the same result as this, a sort of a watery, gentle approach here. Look at this. It's very attractive. Very attractive. I'm not quite sure what we're looking at. There's a title. Crab something Van Gogh. Is there a nuance or a two? Is it two crabs? A Dutch word I don't recognize, I'm sorry, to Van Gogh. Is there a connection between Van Gogh and crabs? I'm sorry, I don't know. Or is it done in a style of Van Gogh? Help me out here. I don't know I don't understand what we're looking at. I'm sorry. Technically, this is nicely done. Look at this. A very, very smooth green, gradation at the bottom. I'm confused by the tangle of browns. It doesn't help me understand what we're looking at. Crabs in the style of Van Gogh. Okay, that part's lost on me, I'm sorry. Technically, the print is interesting. It would be really, really, if you're here, if you're watching, sir, the paper is so soft. It's incredibly difficult to print on. If we had this paper, if you try and moisten it, almost certainly it's going to get too wet and too damp and difficult to make a smooth color. We would really struggle to print on this kind of paper. The fact that you've made such a smooth, elegant result on this paper, man, wonderful, wonderful. But a harder, firmer, stronger Japanese paper would, unless this is the result you want, you know. Very nice, very nice. Can I offer some things that maybe I would like to change if I were printing this? If I were the leader here and you were one of the printers who had done this, what I think I would like to see, it's a night scene, we have an open door and a window, and these should shine brightly because it's dark. So I would have encouraged you to make this print much darker. These areas, use 10 times more pigment. Dark, 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 dark. Do the levels. The face of the church here would have some moonlight or something, that's fine. But to make those lights look really, really nice and homey and warm and inviting during the night, I would have made the surrounding parts much, much darker. If I were, you know, critiquing this, I'm sorry to say it's not negative things. It's very, very nicely done. And then, of course, I would chop away some of the wood at the corner here. It's really a little bit shallow here. Very nice. Thank you very much. I guess I've got your email address because I remember you and me have written back and forth a couple of times about things. I'll drop you an email, sir. Thank you very much. It's not going to fit. Pack those later. Thank you very much. All goes into the collection. It's a crab on its back and not two crabs. I'm sorry, it's difficult for me to understand what it actually looks like. I'm sorry. But it said two, but okay, whatever. Whatever. Let's get back to work. 8:55. Let's do 15, 20 more minutes and have a show and tell. Let's cut lines or clear. Cutting lines is better, sure. Where am I? Coming this way. So two lines, the right and bottom are cut. Should we mark those again just so people know what's going on? That's cut, that's cut. Oh wait, those are all cut. What's going on? Wait, I've done that. They're all cut now. Oh, it's the next line. All clear? All clear. All clear. Yep. I hear the motorbike sound outside. That must be one of the ninja boys, right? They've been decent recently. We had trouble with the loud music at night, and I got upset with him one night, whatever, a couple of weeks ago. And he's been cool. They've been keeping the music down. I don't want to be that guy, but you know, come on, loud music playing out of your bar at 11 o'clock at night. It's not the tradition here, you know. People might say it's a saksa, it's bars, whatever, you're going to have trouble all night. That's not true. The Hopi Dodi, the bars that have been here for generations, they start closing at 10. By 10:30, they're cleaned up. By 11 o'clock, it's dead silence, not a person in sight. But these guys they've been decent now, you know. And they've got new staff, the Ninja Bar. The owner of the place, he's been the guy who has been doing the bad man part of the act, you know, when they bring the kids out. The kids take down the bad guy. The man who's been playing the bad guy has been the owner. But their business is growing, you know. They've got new signage. There's clearly lots more customers. The bar is going very well at night. So they're growing. So he's got more staff. He's got more people to help him now. And the bad guy is these days rotates. Sometimes it's the owner, sometimes it's somebody else. And it's a bit disconcerting for us when we hear shouting and screaming starting up outside. The first few seconds are, what's going on? Is something happening? And then we realize, of course, it's the ninja guy, because we hear the same voice and they're saying the same things. But when it's a new staff member doing the game out there, the shouting and screaming happens in a different kind of pattern. So it takes us a little bit longer to figure out what's going on. Is there something going on outside? Is there a murder? Is there something wrong? Because we don't recognize the guy's voice. And the new guy also, because he's new at it and he's trying to do a good job, he also overacts sometimes. Makes it too scary. And sometimes if he overacts and there's a little bit of a little kid there, the kid will start screaming like crazy. They think the world's coming to an end. I hear the hotel vacuum cleaner. I've got the door closed this morning. It's kind of chilly out there, so I closed the door today. We talk about the schedule, Lano. Next week, we should, if all goes well, we should have a normal streaming schedule next week. Today's Thursday. Saturday will be a normal stream from here in the shop. Not quite sure what I'll be doing. If my life all goes well, these blocks will be finished by then. So I'm not quite sure what I'll be doing. But anyway, Saturday will be a stream from here in Asakusa, as will be the next Monday. That Monday is a holiday here in Japan. And the next day after that, I'm heading up to Fukui Prefecture for another meeting with Murata-san, Shimizu-san, and Iwano-san. That's Tuesday next week. The idea is to be up there for 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. I won't be streaming from up there, not scheduled to. And the idea is to come back late Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday evening, which would put me back here, of course, ready for a stream Thursday morning. Now, whether that night I head out to Ome as well, I get back from Fukui Wednesday afternoon, get on the train and head out to Ome, I am probably not really going to be excited about doing that because that means a rush hour train. So next week's Thursday stream also may be here in Asakusa. I don't know. Anyway, stream schedule will be normal, I guess, as far as I can see it. But I'm not quite sure what some of the content will be. And the next meeting with Murata-san is going to be about the paper that she has made for us over the past couple of months. We've been passing it out to our printers. We've been trialing it, testing it under different kinds of jobs. And it's feedback time. So we're taking some prints up to show her and Shimizu-san. And the conversations are a little bit difficult. I don't mean emotionally difficult. I mean, they're technically difficult. She's a paper maker, not a printer. Here at this end, we're printers, not paper makers. So we're going to look at some of her paper and look at the finished prints and say, it would be nice if the paper was a bit more, But she doesn't know how to make the paper better for printmaking, and we don't know what she could do to make the paper better for printmaking. So we're not really sure how it's all going to go. It's part of a long cycle of trial and trial and trial to see what works and what doesn't work. Also, as part of the trip, it's not just to see Murata-san. We are going to drop by and chat with Iwano-san, you know, the guy who's been making my paper for 30 odd years, 35 years. And we're going to chat with him. We're not going to video him. We're taking microphones, going to put microphones on everybody, and we're going to just poke him and ask him to chat about his life. You know, he's 90 years old now. Him and his wife, they've got a million stories. I mean, they don't tell stories the way we sort of do here, but we want to try and poke him, to let him talk about his life when he was a kid, when he was first as a young print papermaker, how the papermaking thing changed over the years and stuff. We just hope to poke him and feed him a bit of tea and some cookies and see what happens. You know. The blade is new. Yes, of course, of course, of course. I think since I came to Japan, I don't know, half a dozen handles, I don't know. They're all in a drawer somewhere. I never throw them away. We've got handles that have mice teeth. The mice go for it because it's covered sometimes with salt, you know, from sweat and stuff. This handle I've had for a long time. It's super nice and polished. Now this will probably be my last handle. What kills them is, I don't know, if you've sharpened too much here and this part gets chewed away by the sharpening stone. What also kills them is knife in, knife out, new blade, and you poke things in there to try and make it stiff. And gradually the slot gets wider and wider until it becomes pointless. Then the blade won't hold tightly even with shims. Then you grab a new handle. But it's been years since I had a new one, and I don't think it'll be happening anymore. I'm 73 now. I can't see that much anymore. So I think this is my last handle, I think. Where are the other ones? They're in a drawer in Ome. Just toss them in a drawer. I never throw them away. Silly guy. But the blade, my God, the blade changes all the time. We've changed this blade on stream here before. This one now, how much is left on it? Oh, maybe a centimeter left. A couple months, maybe. It's October now. We'll be changing it maybe January, December, January. Not sure. So I was asking about specifications information to the new supplier. All the specifications are known. There are no actual trade secret. Well, I can't say there are no trade secrets, but that's not how it works. Everybody knows how this paper is made. That village, there's a 1,300-year-old history. People cook the fiber, they wash the fiber, they boil it. He does it this way, he does it this way. Murata-san, the lady who's making our paper, worked in Iwano-san's workshop for years. The data is there. I've got the book upstairs, published by the Ministry of Culture, whatever it was called at the time, with the data from Iwano-san's workshop, the pH, the timing, this and that. The data is known. It's simply how to do it. Same as this, right? If you take all my Twitch streams now, whatever, there's the stuff. There's been no secrets. You've seen everything done. Here you are. There's the desk. There's the knife. There's the wok. Go, please make your print. You know, how's that going to work for you? Having the knowledge written down and stuff, I can't say it means nothing. That's not true. It's the experience, the human touch. It's the recipe thing. I mean, my God, maybe in the world of cooking and stuff, recipes to show. You ask for the recipe for this from the kitchen of this famous Michelin restaurant, and they'll say, sure, whatever, write it down, bit of this, bit of this, bit of this, splash of this, 2 teaspoons of that. Go ahead. go home and make it. It's got to be something like that, you know. And all the workshops, you know, are using exactly the same materials. It's the same mulberry, the same hibiscus root, the same water, the same everything. 6 bakeries in a row. They all got the same thing: flour, salt, water, yeast. Go for it. And the 6 bakeries can make a product that you wouldn't even recognize as being the same thing. It's bread. No, this is bread. They're all different. Oh, I know what I meant to ask. You know, just before the stream started today, I got a note from one of the mods asking about the closed captioning on our stream. And this had come up a while ago, a year ago or something. Can I enable closed captioning on these Twitch streams? And I hadn't known that that was possible. So a year or so ago, I looked into it and I enabled it. I found out that that's a setting in our broadcast software. So I enabled closed captioning, and it's been there in the background for those who need it. Turns out I upgraded the software here a month or 6 weeks ago, and that setting didn't follow through. So this morning, somebody reminded me about this. I looked into it a few minutes before the stream started today, and I loaded the plugin that apparently allows closed captioning, but I have no way to test it from this end. So is somebody checking this, or is somebody using this? We all just switched it on. So it is working. Okay, how accurate it is, I guess this is it, I don't know, is it happening on my Mac or is it happening over at Twitch? I don't know. Show and tell in a minute, but we got one more box here. Let me just finish the last box in this row. Oh, who's this? Oh, Ken-san, early to show. Wow. Hi. Who is this stranger? I haven't seen Ken in weeks. I'm usually not here. Okay, I think this will do us. Let's switch over. Show and tell time. あ、どうもありがとうございます。おお、はいはい。着払いじゃない。はい。その着払い？あ、違います。Okay。はい。ありがとうございました。Thank you. The postman. Packages, packages, packages. The last couple of weeks, as part of our October rush, whatever, I've been buying tons and tons and tons of prints. And this guy, the post office guy, the Takubin guy, they've been working like overtime, bringing in these packages for us. The girls upstairs now, they have unopened boxes going back for weeks. This stuff coming in now won't be opened for weeks. We're buying everything we can get our hands on. some of the stuff coming in now, it won't even be in the shop till next year or something. Okay, now, as I said, I have a small conundrum here. The package of prints I have here are what's known as Shunga. They are naughty prints. If you're of a mind for it, you might call them porn. I don't know. So first off, relax. What I'm not going to do, I'm not going to put this stuff right in your face. I'm going to open this quietly at one side. Some of the pictures are going to be gentle, and some are going to be not so nice. And I'm not going to put not so nice stuff in front of everybody's face here. So relax. If you're, whatever. If there's kids watching, you should maybe go somewhere else because they are erotic pictures. But we're going to look at this quietly and see what's here. And the reason I bought this, I myself don't actually have a whole lot of taste for this genre. The analysts and people who have researched this over the years, they come up with a number, something like well over half of all woodblock prints made in the old days were of this genre. Now, I don't know, I have no access to the data, but this is reputable researchers coming up with this kind of number. There were landscape prints, there were beauties, there were actors, and there was porn, Shunga. And this by far, was the largest single category of prints. This is obvious, we all know this. And it's kind of the same thing. What do they talk about? Like when the VCR was first developed, it wasn't really making it very well until what happened, people started using it to make porn videos. And boom, then the genre goes up. And I think it was the same. Gutenberg got his movable type thing worked out, made his Bibles, but then what happened to really make the technology go? People started making erotic work. This is nothing new under the sun. And the same thing in the ukiyo-e genre in Japan. What we've got here are not prints from the old days. The reason I bought this particular set is it's really, really quite rare. It's 20th century. This is post-war. And it's a publishing company that normally published offset reproductions of prints. It wasn't a company that normally hired craftsmen to do their work. And for some reason, for this project, they flipped over and they did real printmaking. And some of the craftsmen they hired here, these are the guys, this is the generation just before when I came to Japan. This is there's not going to be a date on this thing. Late 1960s, I think, maybe early 1970s, I don't know. But a bunch of the craftsmen here are the men who I met at the beginning, who I learned from. And as to why this company did the real thing, making real prints instead of their usual photocopies and offset prints, I don't know. Oh, they're all in plastic, wrapped in plastic since 1960. Good grief. Are there numbers on these so I can choose which one? Yes, 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 yes. They're all numbered. It was a subscription series. Each month, people got 2 packets. Let me see if I can find something. I don't know. Let's just crack it. Try and see. Yeah, oh, sorry, Ken. No. Sorry about that. You spent half an hour looking for it? I'm sorry. Okay, we're a little bit okay. There's nothing dramatic and dangerous here to start with. The work is done fairly nicely, fairly delicately. The scene is obvious, but there's nothing dramatic. Let's look at my hands here. Very nice. 2 blocks for the hair, 1 light for the face, and 1 darker one from the head. This is not quite so well done. I know in the old days, the Shunga genre, well, it's sort of the same as all ukiyo-e. There's really sort of, how can I say? It's like these days we talk about there's no middle class. There's people who don't have many resources, and there's the ultra rich. And almost all of the Shunga stuff that we see in the old days, it was either really fast, blow it out, just sell as much of this crap as you possibly can, carelessly made. And then at the top of it, there was no expenses spared. Make them as beautiful as you could for the connoisseur's market. Those two things are mostly what we see. I'm exaggerating a little bit because there was stuff of all levels made. But we see those time and time again. Any given package that you open would be one of those two things. Carelessly made or beautifully connoisseur made. Now what we have here, it's a bit of a paradox because this is in the middle. This is people making reproductions now. And they've got to make them a little bit nicely so that people could buy them. But there's no way, look at this, right away you can see this. Look at this, misregistration here at the top. There's no way that would have been acceptable in that top level of work that I mentioned, the connoisseur's level. So what we have, oh, this one's famous actually. You perhaps might not even notice it, but look at the trick they've played here. It's a courtesan with a partner. They're up on the second floor. They've finished their dinner. The wine, this is a sake cup. They've had their wine. This is a kettle for heating the wine. And look at this. It's a face. It's the male. And he is under her fabric, which is transparent. Translucent, transparent. That's a face. Nicely done. The original for this would have been a very, very high class. I'm thinking this is Utamaro. I don't remember. I really don't have all these things in my mind. I'm not a real fan of the Shunga genre. I don't collect it myself. Yes, it's Utamaro it's mentioning. So, but I really wanted this as part of our survey. I know, as I said, I don't really want this for the subject matter. It's not something we'll be displaying or looking at or enjoying. But I wanted to see work from these guys, these men who are the group who I learned from. I don't think they were looking at the registration. The printers, it's their job to look at the registration. Give me a break. Oh, colors, colors, colors. All right, I think we're safe then with these. I was a bit afraid that there might be, you know, your typical Shunga giant members and stuff like this. It seems that they have toned this down. They are clearly erotic pictures, but there is nothing here to shock the kids. Enough, you know, the kids may not even notice what's going on here. So this is not the kind of Shunga where we have giant male members and stuff like this. They are Shunga prints, but I think we're safe for the Twitch's terms of service here. Here we go. Someone's got like pillow prints, I guess is a better expression maybe. So we're safe here, I'm sure. I didn't need to really warn everybody about everything. So these are pillows. Literally, this is a pillow print. These are pillows. It's hard to tell what is fabric and what is the surroundings. Look at this, boy oh boy. I think this is slightly reduced from the size of the original. No craftsman's names, none. I was hoping we'd get the names of the men who made them here. There's a pamphlet full of descriptions, lots of stuff about the source of the images, which albums they came from. No mention of the craftsman's names at all. Maybe that's because of the genre. Maybe, you know, let's not put everybody's name on here. No, we're not going to learn that. And so many of these are in the same place. This, again, this is up on the second floor of a tea house. This isn't in the Yoshiwara. This would be in Shinagawa, obviously. Another, and again, we have a tea. It's not tea, it's a hot pot with hot sake. Second floor, after dinner, upstairs in the Yoshiwara. The name of the game. A few people bid on this, not many people bid on it. This isn't one of those things that I got for like $5 or something. Let me jump back to the auction page, one sec. How much did the album cost me? That's a sec. Wait, here we are. There are 30 prints in the album, and it cost me 33,000 yen. So 1,300 yen. 1,300 yen per print, which is, what's that? It's about $8, $9. So I guess this is one of those cheap deals. I don't know, sorry. Time for another one more. So I think we're safe. I'm sorry. I thought they would be a bit more explicit than they are. $20. Okay. Did I multiply wrong? 30. No. It's not 33. The auction was 33,000, and there's 30 prints inside it. So it's 1,300 yen each, not 3,300. The show? 33,000 divided by 30 is 1,300. Oh, this one we'll pass. This is definitely not Twitch terms of service. Excuse me. We got lucky with the first ones. Next one's okay. We'll put that one aside for the moment here. My socks are off. Uragawa-san, good morning.
Good morning.
We're still live for a couple more minutes here.
Okay.
It's nice carving and printing, but it's not A rank. It's a little tiny bit frustrating. I can't complain considering the price. But the fact that this company has gone to all the time and trouble to get this ready, get all the blocks ready, the hunchta ready, and not push the craftsman just a little bit more. Look at this. You can see there's two levels of color here. There's a light gray block, her eyes and her nose. This is carved nicely. A little bit off misregistration on the pink. It's carved nicely. They've got a good expression on the eye. The under gray is nice. But then the black hair on top, it's got this strong, sharp line, which spoils the whole thing. There's an under gray block. You can see it here, right here, look. Where am I? So you can see the underneath gray hairs, the black hairs on top, and there's an undertone dark gray block, and that should have had feathering at the edge of it. So this spoils the whole effect. They've gone 95% of the way and just didn't go. Nobody's phoned this in. This is decent work, you know. Nobody's phoning it in. I'm not insulting these guys. Look at this. The delicacy of the makeup here. She's got makeup under her. Look at this. You can see the nose. Look at this. See this? There's a shape to her nose. This is not trash work. They've tried to do a nice job. But just that last frustrating little bit. He's got it too. I guess it's not makeup. They're just trying to show faces, you know, the structure of a face. I said the pink makeup. The fact that it's on the guy would tell us it's not makeup. They're just trying to show the shape of the face. Put something under the eyebrows to show, you know. It's decent stuff. It's decent stuff. Should we see if we can find one more? I'm a little nervous because I'm not quite sure now what's going to be if I dig down too far. there are clearly some here that are very explicit. So let's just have a look at one more. We're okay. Oh, group. I think we're okay. Whoop. Next one, no. Next one, no. Look at these colors. The coloring here. This is not what it would have looked like. These colors are too bright. Oh, frustrating printing. Look at this. We've got a couple here. They're still closed. Again, the usual thing. We've finished dinner. We've finished sake. Are we seeing a theme developing here? But look at this down in this corner. Oh, ho, ho. They're not opaque pigments per se, I don't think. They are simply lathered on way, way, way too thickly and too strongly. There could be some opaqueness here. I'm sorry, I don't know. In their attempt to make it bright and bold and clean and new, there's just too much color here. They should have been textured and toned a bit more carefully. There's no way we would have seen a yellow like this back in the old days. No way. Yes, somebody's got this. Abuna is a term that's used for these, yes. I think that term started in the 20th century, but don't quote me. I think back in the old days, I'm not sure. I don't think it was there. And we can see clearly here, of course, the guy is a normal skin tone. The lady is makeup, white face makeup, you know. What color would they have been? Well, actually, this must be a known image, and if we go to ukiyo-e.org and search for it, we would be able to find museum copies of an original here. The old one would have been colorful, yes, but they wouldn't be so, what's the word here? They wouldn't be so bright. They're just printed with more delicacy and taste. Colors in the old days, they could be deep, but these are just, they're just, I'm sorry, there's just, vocabulary is not there. Part of it's the toning. We get the old prints and they're toned and faded, so we tend to look at an old print and say, wow, these guys had nice color sense. But sometimes in the old days, it's like Greek statues or Roman statues or something. They all look very white and pale and faded now, and they tell us that in the old days it might have been polychrome. I don't know. If we polychrome them now, they look funny. And I think that's what these printers have tried to do. They've tried to make a bright, clean print in the style of the old days, but still, they just didn't get it. The colors just don't work. They're too bright and too clean and too jarring with each other. There's no way they would have looked like that in the old days. It's not her, it's another couple to show. What have we got here? This is her, one of her feet is here. This is one of his feet. It's anybody's guess as to whose feet this is. Oh, it's his because it's skin tone. A white foot must be hers. A skin tone foot is hers. His. That's his. Her other foot must be somewhere in there. And this is another lady and another customer, of course. These have got to be his feet because they're pink. Okay, I think that'll do us for now. I'll peek through the other ones and have a look, and if there's something really special and interesting, I'll bring it to you later on. But there we are. Thank you. I think we got through this with no problem. I don't think Twitch is going to kill our channel, and I don't think I've shown anything that should be too upsetting to people. Whatever. The Japanese Star Wars Celebration announcement to use ukiyo art by Takumi Hanga. Yes, we know about this. It's best if I don't talk about this in public until I learn more about it. It's okay. There's a bunch of backstories here. A bunch of backstories. Okay, let's sign off. Today's Thursday. I apologize for missing an Ome stream. That tradition is still alive very much. I intend to get back to Ome as much as possible. Today, simply, the volume of work on my desk didn't permit it. I'll be back here in a couple of days on Saturday. Thank you very much. Let's put up the outside camera.
I remember seeing it on the map. I know it's. I know if we take
No idea what kind of day it will be in the shop. Yesterday was bananas. Absolutely bananas. Let's see what happens today. Okay, thanks very much. See you in a couple of days. Let's put this down. 3. Let's count slowly. 3, 2, 1, and now we can go down. Thank you.